brand new bombshell video. Joe Biden, February 28th, telling a crowd not to panic over the coronavirus. Now, that's a month after Donald Trump already implemented the travel ban that he opposed and called xenophobic. Take a look.
I want to talk a moment about the coronavirus. And I just wanted to say a few things to set the record straight. Barack and I, when we were as president and vice president, we took on the virus that was threatening all of Africa and the rest of the world. And we set up a mechanism that worked. But I want to take a moment to say it's not a time to panic about coronavirus, but coronavirus is a serious public health challenge.
Donald Trump acted, Joe Biden dithered, and media mob. Did you see that? Because the Biden campaign didn't even release an official response on the pandemic until March 11th. The plan was a few paragraphs long. It included things that the president was already doing. Perhaps he was taking his daily nap and missing what the president was doing. All the while, Joe Biden was campaigning without a mask. He was hugging, he was touching, he was speaking closely to the few Biden supporters that actually showed up at those few events. It wasn't until June the 26th. Then Biden called for a national mask mandate. And then, by the way, September 2nd, after getting a lot of blowback for his mandate, Biden reversed course yet again and said that he did not actually support federally mandated mask wearing. Okay, clearly there is one candidate playing politics with the pandemic. Even Biden admits the worst in 100 years, and it's not President Trump. If Joe Biden were in charge, it's not a question of if more Americans would have contracted the virus and died, but how many hundreds of thousands of more Americans would have contracted this virus? How many more thousands would have died? And by the way, it wasn't just Joe Biden. Nearly every powerful Democrat in America was playing down the coronavirus, all while trying to score cheap political points against President Trump. In other words, typical day in the swamp. Take a look.
What is out there in other places, we want to be careful about how we deal with it, but we do want to say to people, come to Chinatown, here we are, we're again careful, safe, and come join us.
If you're under 50 and you're healthy, which is most New Yorkers, there's very little threat here.
When you're saying what happened in other countries versus what happened here, we don't even think it's going to be as bad as it was in other countries.
And on March 2nd, Comrade de Blasio, he was telling New Yorkers, get out on the town. Here are my recommendations. While these idiots played politics, the president, he took action, immediate action. Remember, in early February, Democrats were still in the process of their impeachment trial, ignoring quid pro quo Joe and zero experience Hunter. Now, the president did not want to create a panic, but what president would want that? And on March the 19th, here's exactly what he told Bob Woodward. Take a listen.
Well, I think, Bob, really, to be honest with you,
sure, I want you to.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want to create a panic.
Now, while Democrats and the media mob spin in circles, well, let's look at some perspective with a brief Hannity history lesson. As many of you know, all four of my grandparents, I've talked about them a lot, they all came to this country from Ireland at the turn of the last century. They didn't have any money. My own parents, they grew up poor during the Great Depression. My dad spent 4 years fighting in the Pacific in World War II. But during the time they were growing up and the Great Depression, unemployment was nearly 25%, GDP down 30%. 2 million Americans were homeless, the stock market down 90%. People's life savings were wiped out. Average incomes were down by 40%. And in every city, every town, there were soup lines around the block. My parents, like millions of other Americans, they struggled. Those were tough times. They were poor. Did President Roosevelt fan the flames of misery? Did he call for panic and anxiety? No, he actually rallied a nation in a time of need. He focused on making Americans stronger by staying positive. And he got to work and he rolled up his sleeves. During World War II, with the country on the brink, FDR proclaimed, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Well, those were brutally tough times. Did the media attack him? Of course not. What about in the aftermath? 9/11, 2001, 20th anniversary in 2 days. What was President Bush supposed to say? America's going down in flames. You better go hide in your basement bunker? Of course not. President's job is to maintain order and, by the way, right the ship during and after a crisis, not spread panic, not spreading fear among the population. Let's make one thing perfectly clear. President Trump has never misled or distorted the truth about this deadly disease. No, he acted faster than anyone else. Don't take my word for it. Let's listen to Dr. Anthony Fauci. Dr. Fauci, I have a lot of respect for him. And guess what? He's very well respected, especially by Democrats on the left. Well, guess what? Here's what Dr. Fauci had to say about the pandemic on February 29th. Take a look.
Dr. Fauci, it's Saturday morning in America. People are waking up right now with real concerns about this. They want to go to malls and movies, maybe the gym as well. Should we be changing our habits, and if so, how?
No, right now, at this moment, there is no need to change anything that you're doing on a day-by-day basis. Right now, the risk is still low, but this could change. I've said that many times, even on this program. You've got to watch out, because although the risk is low now, you don't need to change anything you're doing. When you start to see community spread, this could change and force you to become much more attentive to doing things that would protect you from spread.
Now,